Is gold crash proof? Well, if it is, I guess we don't need these capsules anymore. So gold has been having a good week. Prices hit 3-month highs, but that on its own really isn't a very big deal to me personally. I don't mind lower gold prices when I'm buying. What has me thinking about this, though, is what's going on in the stock market and what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this is one of those times or one of those examples of why it makes sense to diversify. Now, this isn't me giving financial advice. I'm just really not qualified to do that. It's just me pointing out common sense planning. I mean, I've continued to buy gold even though I've seen larger returns in other asset classes. And my thinking here is pretty basic. It's that if there's a chance of a surprise in the economy, I want to make sure that I have an asset that isn't quite so jumpy. Now, if you look at the stock market, inflation and jobs reports and earnings, well, they sent the market down. All of that makes sense. You couldn't predict it necessarily, but it wasn't a big surprise. And that's a different story with some of these other investments. If you look at what happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum, Elon Musk tweeted about the impact of Bitcoin's energy usage and then the impact on the environment. And the price of Bitcoin dropped 12%. Now, if one person can send the value of an investment up or down on a whim, it's hard to call that investment a hedge. Now, I don't need to remind anyone here that cryptocurrency is volatile. That would be like preaching to the choir. But over the last year, it's been pretty clear that cryptocurrency has been siphoning off some of the interest in gold. And every time I hear that Bitcoin is digital gold or that it's a hedge against the dollar, my eye twitches a little bit. I think there's a strong argument to be made that people are investing in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies rather than gold, but I don't know how anyone could see it as a currency hedge in the sense that it's a safe haven asset. And really the only reason a person could say that with a straight face is that its price isn't really correlated to the same things that affect the US dollar. Its price is affected by Elon Musk. You know, I'm not dumping on cryptocurrency. I'm a little irritated with what's been happening over the last few days, but what I'm doing here is looking at how I might personally plan for a market crash or some kind of broad economic downturn. And that brings me back to gold. Now with stocks, they're going to be correlated to economic signals, and you can argue that the market is overvalued, but the market is still going to be affected by the economy. But gold doesn't have those same correlations. So it's the kind of hedge that would help a person sleep better at night. I still don't get people calling Bitcoin digital gold or even calling it a hedge at all, because if anything, it's more stressful. It moves more violently and more unexpectedly than the market. Now, I've done pretty well with crypto investments, and I know a lot of people watching have too. There's really no debating gains from Bitcoin and Ethereum, and if you've been taking profits along the way, it's probably already paid off. Now, the gains that I've taken out so far mostly went back into buying more gold, and I plan to keep doing that with most of what I take out because I think of gold as the safe haven asset. I don't think of a cryptocurrency as filling that role. I think of cryptocurrency as a profit factory. A few weeks back, Lior Gantz mentioned that the inflation numbers were going to start coming in hot. And it probably wasn't a big surprise to anyone when they did, but now that we're in the middle of it, it feels like maybe some of the investor sentiment is going to change. Now, I could be way off, but I know my personal sentiment has definitely changed. And I tried to get back on track with my monthly purchases, and I was really just looking to buy a half-ounce American Gold Eagle again, but I couldn't find one at all at the usual places that I buy from. I couldn't find one at all at a decent price. So I think instead I'm going to work on finding a 1-ounce coin, and right now it's a buffalo for me. I want to get back on track. I'd like to move toward filling a tube at some point. So even though the spot price is moving up, it's higher than I like it, that's what I'm looking for. Availability of fractional coins has been really tough lately. Half-ounce and quarter-ounce American Gold Eagles, they aren't even available at the primary sites that I typically buy from. My local coin shops, they haven't even had them this year at all, I don't think. It's been months. And I don't really think that that's an availability of gold issue. That's just that they're so popular. Everyone's grabbing them before I get there. Now, the other thing in play, of course, is the redesign of the Eagles. We're supposed to have the new Type 2 Eagles out in late June, and hopefully that will turn around this availability issue pretty soon. I've been pretty tempted to cut over to Canadian Maple Leafs, but I'm going to hold out a little bit longer because all of this is temporary. The availability issues, the high premiums, even the market drop. You can argue that one if you want, whatever. A few days in negative territory, though, isn't really anything that I worry about. Sometimes I think that it's not a bad idea to do a little bit of planning when things are down and you're a little more pessimistic. It just helps with perspective, lets you think through what you might need if it was a longer term issue. I know right now I'm kind of counting my gold up. Like, do I have enough? I know that's just kind of a silly thing, but I'm kind of back on that kick. And I always wonder about people who are only into cryptocurrency, only watching those channels that are always forecasting prices to the moon. If I was just sunk down in that, like well down the rabbit hole, and that's all I was seeing, prices are going up, this is the greatest thing ever, I'm not sure if I'd be hedged real well against a possible downturn or just reality in general. I'm not into doom and gloom, but I'll take a down day. Gives me a good chance to take inventory. And speaking of inventory, I thought I had a chance to pick up another high relief US Gold Liberty coin. Now, this one would have been the 2019, but the seller tried to increase the price on me last minute, which is totally fine. I'm sure they had other interest, but I had planned to pick it up at 12% premium. Now that's high for me, but if you were to find that same coin on the US Mint site, they want something like $27.50 for it. And I haven't done this math, but with spot price somewhere around $18.34, that's just about 50% premium. Again, if you were going to buy it direct from the Mint. So 12%, I thought maybe that might be worth it. And I was ready to go on it. I actually passed on a Buffalo that was 8% locally just to grab that Liberty. And then with the higher price, I passed on that as well. So no big deal. I mean, that Buffalo's gone. I'm going to have to go shopping for a new one. I'm not sure I can find 8% right now, but again, not a big deal. As I was thinking this through, though, I was thinking that I don't really want another shape, another size. I mean, being able to fill a tube is far more motivation for me than just adding another ounce of gold. Some of that's just OCD, having an outlier like this. But when I think of having a significant amount of any asset, really, I want to be able to move it all at once if I need to. So a tube of Eagles, a tube of Buffaloes, that's just easier than a chest of random gold coins. And at some point, larger gold bars begin to make sense. So 100 gram, 10 ounce, that's a level that I'm just not at right now. But again, at some point it makes sense. Anyway, that's a topic for another time. The question I was trying to get to in all of this, though, was, is gold crash proof? And the answer is no. We've seen it drop 17% in a few months, and technically a 10% drop is considered a crash in market vernacular. But if you're comparing what it can do against the stock market or looking at it in comparison to cryptocurrency, well, it sure looks pretty stable, and it also has a lot of upside. So once again, I'm trying to stay balanced. I'm going to keep buying. That half-ounce American Gold Eagle plan is kind of out the window right now, but I guess there are worse things than having to buy Buffaloes. Probably won't be getting these things every month, but I'll be buying something. All right, let's call it good there. Let me know what you think. Are you ready for the new Eagles? Maybe some of you don't even care. I don't know, 24K or bust, right? And if you're into it, hit the like button. That helps get the word out. I know I've said it before, but it's a big help. And if you aren't subscribed, you don't have notifications turned on, well, there are buttons for that as well. And if you're still here, thank you for watching. Always appreciate your time. Take care.